going to be hot today?
Alright guys, well if all of this looks somewhat familiar to any of you, this is the final rendition of the hog from the Davis meet, as far as how we got the vinyl, how we got the oil cooler mounted up, how we got the roof painted up, etc. This is the final result that we ended up with. Black and yellow two-tone. It was affectionately called a Bumblebee at one point. I prefer Turbo Taxi, but Bumblebee works nonetheless. If you notice, this vehicle right here is pulled effectively nose to nose with our ticket magnet, which is sitting right outside this roll-up door. Alright guys, now that the ticket magnet has officially passed Smog underneath its own credentials and abilities to do so, we now have a little bit of time to play with it before we have to take it back to the Smog check station to get it registered the next time. Unfortunately, the hog, on the other hand, is a completely different story in the sense that nothing under the hood pretty much will not be noticed by a Smog technician. Let's go ahead and cut to an engine bay. Alright, you guys. As some of you may have seen and some of you may not have seen, I don't know who was at the Davis show, this is what the final rendition of the Hog's engine bay ended up like. We have the 1985 Ford Mustang SVO airbox, which has a silicone 90 directly under here coming off the bottom of the airbox, directly underneath here coming off the bottom of the airbox, and it goes to my mass airflow meter, which is the stock mass airflow meter that came with this car and engine computer, and it dumps directly into a 2 3/4 by 2 3/4 by 1 inch pipe for this recirculation style compressor bypass valve that we're using. This is the factory valve that could be found on this car. It's just using a slightly different boot than would be found from the factory. That's because we're using this nice big 60 trim turbocharger, and effectively that 45-degree larger diameter inlet was what caused us to have to go with the aftermarket boot. Winners and losers in powder coat. Let's talk about this. High temperature powder coatings. There's been a lot of talk and discussion and debate regarding whether or not it's viable to put powder coating on high temperature parts such as turbocharger exhaust manifolds and turbine housings. I'm having mixed results. I'm personally testing high temperature stuff on my own personal car before selling these coatings to anybody to try and get an idea of what is and is not going to survive on a customer's car. I am having incredibly poor results with a high temperature silver that came from an unbranded company that I purchased online. Directly next to this silver, I'm having great results with a muffler black that I purchased from Powder by the Pound, also an online purchase, but a very reputable seller that's located in Washington. Let's take a look. This shit right here is unacceptable to me. This is 1,000 miles or less in, and this is just basically mummy dust. This silver was delivered to me in a 1-pound quantity from an online eBay purchase, and it came effectively in a gallon Ziploc bag. I kind of considered it suspect at that point and put it on no customer product, whether it was a manifold, whether it was anything, no matter what, and just kind of shot it on my own stuff to get a feel of what the powder was going to do. We are seeing what this powder is going to do, and I am completely not happy with it. It effectively just wipes clean and leaves my 100% clean cast iron prepped surface below it after being cooked off by the housing. Right next door to it, though, I don't know if it'll focus, this coating on the manifold, this high temperature muffler black, is holding up phenomenal. And so is the hardware, the stainless steel studs and nuts that are associated with it. So these are some winners and some losers as far as powder coat is concerned. I don't know exactly how hot the manifold gets, but I know it's probably pretty close to a lot of degrees. And same with the turbine housing. I would be interested to run a turbine housing with this coating on the housing itself and see how it plays out. Ta-da! Alright, I cheated. I already coated one in that same exact coating. So my intent is to swap this housing onto that turbo and probably end up swapping this entire turbo assembly over to that ticket magnet style car. So at this point, what we're going to go ahead and do is we're going to start to swap all of our fun Go Fast parts from this car over to this car. I really liked how these cool blast pipe style exhausts sounded on the Hog, and I really liked the way the 3-inch resonator sounded as well. Now that we've gone ahead and passed the ticket magnet through smog, I think the first thing I'm going to do is go ahead and swap the exhaust itself and yeah, go ahead and get the ticket magnet running the blast pipes. Alright, now we're there. Alright. Now we are there, fellas. Alright guys, what do you say? First start? Alright guys, so it looks like there was a little bit of oil left in the pipes. Looks like it's burning off, because I know for sure this car didn't smoke before we put the exhaust on it. Sounds good to me. Alright guys, well if you liked this video, please go ahead and hit that big thumbs up button. Please hit that big subscribe button, and as always, we'll catch you next time.